Hey, welcome back, everyone. There's quiet, and then there's silence. Silence is when the noise stops. And I'm not talking about the kind of quiet when the house is empty and it's peaceful. I'm talking about the silence that follows years of action, the sirens, the training days, the operational briefings, the bullshitting in the locker room. That sudden silence. It's not something you plan for, it just sneaks in. It starts about that time you acknowledge that the uniform is loosening its grip on your daily life. And then when it does, it can rattle you in ways you didn't expect. I've had a lot of conversations with people who basically grew up in the system that told them when to show up, how to act, and what was expected of them. Then one day, it's done, and you're left with this odd sense of freedom. A freedom that sounds great until you realize you're no longer part of the noise. You're in the silence. Some folks charge into that space with a plan. Others hesitate. Some burn out before they ever even get there. And a lot of us never realize how much our ability to function and adapt and lead in those environments is directly tied to our personal health. I'm not talking about fitness scores or what you can bench. I mean the full spectrum. Physical, mental, emotional. The whole system that keeps you going when life's moving fast and pressure's real. You don't just wake up one day and transition. That process tests every bit of who you are and how well you've been taking care of yourself before the test begins. So with that, let's get into round 84 of the tactical transition tips. This time the topic is protecting your health during transition. For the close range group, those of you looking at your transition right away or you're less than a year out, build a wellness routine. You need to build a system that helps you stay grounded when everything else starts to feel unstable. For the medium range group, those of you looking at your transition in 5 years or so, audit your health annually. Don't stumble and stagger into your transition. Stay in the game today and be your best tomorrow. And for the long range group, those of you just starting your careers, you've got at least a decade before your transition. Build your bounce back strategy. Longevity in these careers isn't luck. It's the resilience building that you built brick by brick before you need shelter. Close range group. I want you to pause for a moment. Where you're at right now, it's not easy. You're standing at the exit door. You're about to turn that handle and walk through it, leaving behind a career that's defined you, your identity, your purpose. The calendar is getting real. You've probably got a few months left, maximum a year. And that uneasy feeling in your stomach is starting to bubble. You probably feel like you're still supposed to be in go mode, but there's also the noise starting to grow in the background. Questions like, what's next? Will I get hired? Am I even ready? They get louder in your head the more it's quiet. And to help you through this process, you need to build your wellness routine. Now, I'm not talking green smoothies and sunrise yoga on the beach. I'm talking about structure, a rhythm, a piece of your day that belongs to you, not your family, not your future employer, not the VA, not the organization, just you. And here's why this matters. When these jobs end, so does the structure. The routine that, whether you loved it or hated it, kept you anchored. When that goes away, a lot of us start to drift. We lose track of time. We lose momentum. And worse, we start to lose ourselves. But if you build a simple personal wellness routine now, you're not just creating habits. You're telling yourself, I'm still in control. I'm in the fight. It doesn't need to be fancy. Just start your day with movement, mindset, and breath. A light stretch or a workout. This is not a full-blown sweat session. 10 to 20 minutes just to get the blood flowing. Hell, if you're old like me, we're that 67 Chevelle you got to warm up in the driveway for 10 minutes before taking it out on the road. We can't just jump out of bed and go. We have to remind our body it's alive and accountable. Next, carve out a few minutes to focus on your thoughts. You could do it through journaling. It could be just quiet meditation, or maybe just breathing with your eyes closed. But lead yourself by asking this question: what do I need today to move forward? Some days the answer might be clarity. Other days it might be courage, but asking yourself the question, that's your compass. Without it, you wake up and just react to everything. Emails, text, life in general. With it, you choose how you show up. Then there's breath. Deep, intentional breaths. The slow in and out that resets your nervous system. In through the nose, out through the mouth. It calms the stress you don't even know was building. Put it all together, and you've got a simple structure that acts as your anchor. And on those days when transition stress hits hard, you'll have something to hold on to. Then once you're into your morning, bump it up a notch. Write or say one hard truth, and be honest with yourself. Maybe it's I'm scared to be irrelevant. I don't know who I am without the job. I'm worried I won't provide for my family. And if you're worried that naming it makes it worse, it just makes it real. And once it's real, it becomes something you can deal with. Clarity beats confusion, and clarity only comes from honesty. Then most people skip this part. They fill their mornings with information and distractions. But what if instead of starting your day with noise, you started it with truth? Next, I want you to define your word of the week. Choose one. It could be execute. It could be discipline. It could be focus, recover, adapt. Whatever it is, write it down. Put it on the bathroom mirror. Say it out loud as you get ready. That word becomes your mission filter for the week. You'll be surprised how powerful that is. If you're in the interview process, you walk into that interview already thinking execute. You're tired on day 3 of submitting job applications, you've got discipline stuck to the dashboard. You hesitate before that networking call, adapt. That gives you something to lean into when the emotions start to mess with your confidence. Also, when it comes to the hiring process, especially interview readiness, you don't need to be doing mock interviews every day. What you do need to do is do quiet daily reflections. That morning journaling I mentioned, that's not just mental health work. Every time you reflect on where you're at, what you want, and what you value, you're building your story. So when someone says, "Tell me about yourself," you don't freeze, you don't fumble. You answer as someone who knows who they are and where they're headed. What is the grind? It's not just a routine, but the decision we make to wake up, give everything we've got, then find a way to go further. Grind, spelt GRND, is more than a brand. It's a movement, an emotion we all feel connected to as we work daily to pursue our goals and support each other. Founded by a former Army Ranger, Grind Activewear has a clear mission: to give 100% and then some more. In sport, fitness, and in life. Functional, high-quality performance wear that's rooted in American culture. Because you demand gear that outworks the rest. Whether you're on the field, in the gym, or building your own lane, Grind is for those who refuse to settle. Go check out the Grind Collective. That's thegrndcollective.com and tap into something bigger than clothing. And while you're there, use the promo code TRANSITION15 to get 15% off your purchase. Now let's be real. For those willing to start something like this, most won't stick with it through any type of routine. Not because they're lazy, but because it feels too simple, too slow, too uncomfortable. It feels unnecessary or even silly. But this isn't silly. This is your new training cycle. You've trained to shoot, to move, to drive, to lead. Now you're training to stay sharp as the structure is going away. And when you show up grounded, when your energy is steady and your mind is clear, people are going to notice. Employers are going to notice. You become the person who didn't just make it. You owned your transition. So tomorrow morning, before you reach for your phone, before the to-do list takes over your day, give yourself 30 minutes. Move, breathe, reflect. Set a tone for the day, because this isn't about turning into some motivational guru. It's about showing up for your next chapter. You want to be centered, calm, and confident. And the best part? It's yours. You own it, and it starts now. medium range group. You're not in the final stretch yet, but you're in the final turn. You can see the finish line. It might seem far away, and to a degree it is. But the time to prepare isn't 100 yards out. It's now, while you still have time to regulate your output. So don't think about transition today in the abstract. Think about performance. Your performance right now. And how you can use the next 5 years or so to continue to sharpen your edge and lay the groundwork for what's next. Maximizing your performance starts today with a personal health and wellness audit. Now, I know the word audit sounds like taxes or some sort of compliance check. But stay with me. This audit is about you, for you. An honest, scheduled, annual checkpoint that gives you a clear read on how you're actually doing. Because let's be honest, at this point in your career, you've probably adapted to operating at 80%, even 60% capacity. Hell, you've probably forgotten what 100% even feels like. Because we wear our stress like it's part of our kit. We tell ourselves the aches, the mindlessness, the shortness in our tone. That's just part of the job. But the thing is, it shouldn't be part of us, especially the part that we're going to take when we leave this party. So this audit, it's about how you reclaim your baseline. Think about it for a minute. Why do we foolishly treat our personal systems like they'll just hold together? We're not the equipment that our organizations say, hey, we don't have the budget. Just make what you have work. The audit starts with one simple principle. What gets measured gets managed. So what are you going to measure? Each year, pick a date that works and stick with it. Then sit down and look at your physical health. Get lab work done, your heart rate measured, your blood pressure, your sleep patterns, your inflexibility, because I want to say flexibility, and any nagging injuries that you've been ignoring. If you've been living on caffeine and ibuprofen, it's going to show up here. But you need to stop thinking, if the muscles still look good in the mirror, then I'm still good to go. Your mental clarity. How's your focus? Are you foggy more often than not? Is your attention sharp both on the job and at home? How's your emotional resilience? Are you short with people? Are you numb to stuff that should matter? Are you actually recovering, or are you just pushing through and stacking on more damage? Your habits. How often are you drinking? What are you eating? How much are you moving? Do your daily routines help you, or do they hurt you? This is about gathering data, because if you want to perform better, lead better, train smarter, and transition stronger, you've got to know where you're starting from. This isn't just about avoiding a breakdown down the road. It's about building the capacity to regulate energy and clarity now. You want to be the kind of leader people trust, the kind of coworker others look to for calm, steady, clear-headed responses. You've got to be operating from a place of strength, not survival. When you do this kind of audit, year after year, you're not just tracking your body, you're tracking your alignment. It's about asking the deeper question. Is the way I'm living today aligned with the life I say that I want after this job? Because if you're saying you want to retire healthy, but your current life looks like always working extra shifts, emotional detachment, numbing out in front of a screen or with alcohol, then you've got mission drift. And catching that drift now is the best case scenario. Because a course correction now is a nudge. A course correction at 5 months, that's a panic. This episode is brought to you by Brothers in Arms USA. They're a veteran-owned and operated clothing and accessories brand that's 100% American-made. Every piece tells a story of brotherhood, respect, discipline, and honor. Deeply inspired by those who serve, those who have served, and those who have paid the ultimate price serving our great country. Whether you're an outdoor enthusiast, a proud patriot, or simply somebody who values high-quality American craftsmanship, they've got something for you. Go check out brothersandarms.com, spelled out fully, brothersandarms.com, and use the promo code TRANSITION20 to get 20% off your purchase. So as part of your audit, build in a life alignment check. Ask yourself, am I working to live or just living to work? Am I still passionate or just on autopilot? What parts of my identity are wrapped up in the uniform? And what am I going to grow into outside of this job? Your answers might be uncomfortable, but discomfort is an indicator. It's a flare saying, hey, we've got time to fix this. Next, the piece that most of us skip, our mental health. Now, I know this topic gets a lot of lip service lately, but I'm not talking about the generic check in on yourself. I mean, honest questions about your mood, your triggers, your ability to process stress. How's your sleep? Are you using alcohol to numb or actually unwind? Do you still have a sense of purpose in what you do, or are you just going through the motions? You wouldn't ignore a crack in the foundation of your house. Don't ignore it in your mind. If you need to talk to someone, please do it. If you don't know where to start, ask someone. Now is the perfect time to address this stuff while you still have easy access to resources. Now let's hit on another area though, your inputs. What are you feeding your body and your brain? Are you running on fast food, monsters, rage bait in the headlines and social media rabbit holes? Or are you feeding recovery, clarity, and strength? Start tracking it. Journal it for 1 week. Just observe. Don't think about it, justify it. Just document it. Then after a week, go back and see what's helping and what's hurting you. Then make adjustments. Better inputs equal better decisions. Better decisions equal better performance. Better performance equals a smoother transition. It's that simple. Here's the last piece I'll leave you with. This audit doesn't just help you. It helps the person coming behind you. Whether you realize it or not, someone's going to inherit your workload, your influence. You can either hand it off with resentment and burnout or with clarity and pride. When you audit yourself and make corrections now, you model leadership. You build a legacy. You're going to leave on your terms, not because your body or your mind gave out first. So don't wait. Book the lab work, schedule the reflection, journal your stress patterns, and ask the hard questions. Check your drift and reclaim your edge. Because this audit, it's not a nice to have. It's your blueprint and your passport into whatever comes next. Long range group. You've still got plenty of miles ahead of you. Your focus is on today. You're getting after it. But no one ever seems to tell us this. Not in the academy, not in basic training, not even from senior leadership. The real edge doesn't come from how hard you get after it. It comes from how well you recover. Your bounce back strategy. That's what separates the ones who last from the ones who burn out, break down, or just simply fade away. See, right now you might think resilience is something you'll figure out later. But by the time you're seasoned, the wear and tear has already happened. The habits are already set. The identity has already hardened. So what I'm asking you to do is plan your recovery before you ever need it. Think about that. We train for everything else, high-risk stops, trauma care, deployments, but we rarely train for what happens when we go sideways, when the shift grinds us down, when the personal life implodes, when sleep disappears, or when the pressure starts to feel heavier than usual. You need to know now you can come back from that. And the good news is you can start building it right now while you're still sharp and while you're still healthy. There are a lot of veteran and first responder-owned coffee companies out there. Trident Coffee is one of them, but they're different. They're cold brew experts, and their beans are roasted for cold brew optimization. But for those of you who love hot coffee, this is a benefit to you as well. Hot or cold, their coffees taste amazing without the bitterness. Their instant cold brew is infused with powerful ingredients for performance, focus, and wellness, including antioxidants and electrolytes, ensuring smooth, steady energy with no jitters and no crashes. This isn't just coffee, it's fuel for your brain and your body. Whatever your coffee needs, Trident has you covered. From a variety of great tasting roasted beans to their instant cold brew and nitro cold brew in a can for when you're on the go. However you drink it, Trident Coffee is coffee upgraded. Get yours now at tridentcoffee.com and use the promo code TDP15 for 15% off your purchase. First, you've got to know your breaking point signals. Everybody has a limit. I don't care how tough, how fit, or how motivated you are. You have a threshold. What most people don't do is recognize it early. So start paying attention to your own tells. Do you get short with people when you're down on your sleep? Do you start zoning out during briefings? Do you skip workouts or avoid family activities because you're running low? Do you default to sarcasm or shut down completely? That's your dashboard. And if you're ignoring the warning lights now, you're setting yourself up for a blowout later. So track your patterns, build awareness, gather your intelligence. You want a long, effective career? Know when you're slipping before it becomes a slide. Next, audit what you're numbing with. You decompress somehow. We all do. But let's be honest, some of the ways we unwind are really just avoidance in disguise. Maybe it's staying at the gym longer than necessary. Not to train, but maybe more to hide. Maybe it's drinking a little more than usual. Maybe it's the ridiculous hours of scrolling when you're not even really watching what's passing by. This stuff is sneaky because it feels normal, but over time, it dulls your edge. So ask yourself, are these habits recharging me or just helping me escape? Because the difference matters. You want habits that build resilience, not dependence. If something feels off, don't wait for it to become a problem. Address it now, while the stakes are still low. Something else you need? Recovery reps. You train your body. You train your skills. Recovery needs to be trained the same way. Start building recovery into your rhythm. If you've had that long week, schedule a full unplug day. If you've had a rough call, debrief it with somebody you trust. If you hit the gym and hit it hard, prioritize your sleep and food that's going to rebuild you. Don't just power through. Deliberately cycle your recovery into your life. This isn't soft. This is what makes you durable. Durability is what earns longevity, and longevity is what gives you the power to transition on your terms. Not because the job took more from you than you meant to give it. Another key element, build your resilience team now. Let's face it, we can't spot every blind spot on our own, and you shouldn't have to. You need a few people who can read you when you're off your game. People who aren't afraid to put you in check, pull you aside, or just say, "Hey, you good?" These can be your teammates, but they should also be people outside the profession. What matters, though, is trust in everyone you put around you. Build that crew before the storm hits, because when it does, and at some point it will, you don't want to be alone on that island trying to figure it all out by yourself. And here's a leadership perspective. If you plan to mentor others, to promote, to lead teams, then you have to model this kind of support system. People are watching how you operate, not just under pressure, but when you're coming back from pressure. Your example becomes their learning point. You show them it's okay to ask for help. You show them how to bounce back with strength, not shame. And finally, I want you to regularly visualize, what does life look like when the uniform comes off? Who are you? What do you stand for? What kind of energy do you want to bring into a room, into your family, into whatever your next chapter becomes. The earlier you build that sense of identity apart from the uniform, the healthier you're going to be as you rise through this career. Because when you know who you are outside the job, you don't get consumed by the job. And when the day finally comes where you hand in the gear, you'll be ready, not broken. So here's your playbook. Start tracking your warning signs. Take inventory of your numbing behaviors. Integrate recovery like you would training. Build your accountability circle. Reflect on your future regularly. This isn't transition planning. Not yet. This is resilience conditioning. This is you putting armor on your future self. And when you start showing up with this level of clarity and control early in your career, people notice. Supervisors notice. Teams trust you faster. Leaders are going to lean on you more. And opportunities are going to show up that you never would have likely landed. Because bounce back isn't just about surviving setbacks. It's about showing up stronger after the hit. Start now, not because the storm's coming tomorrow, but because when it does come, you'll already be ready for it. So to close this out, the quiet moments are starting to feel different lately. It's not just the shift in tempo. It's something deeper. Like part of you knows there's a change coming, even if you haven't said it out loud yet. Something's shifting, not in a way that you should panic, but in a way that deserves attention. Because whether it's creeping up fast or still years out on your career horizon, that next season is going to ask something of you. And if you've taken the time to build your systems, to sharpen your self-awareness, to put yourself on the front foot instead of waiting for life to push you, you won't just handle it, you'll own it. And it all starts with focusing on your health and wellness in transition. Thank you for taking the time to listen to or watch the episode. I would really appreciate it if you could give me any comments you have. What am I doing right? What am I doing wrong? What's missing for you? Reach out on social media, send me an email. All the links are in the show notes. Also, if you're not already, please follow the podcast, wherever you're getting this podcast. Another ask, please share the podcast with anyone you think could benefit from and enjoy it. And last, don't forget to sign up for the newsletter.